Hello, I'm Philip Stoten. We are at the Scoop Studio at Productronica 2019, and this is the first edition of that Scoop Show with my guests, Jürgen and Mattias. Guys, thanks for joining me. The theme, as always, at these shows, digital transformation, so many things going on, and I kind of want to explore where we are in the industry. You know, we talked earlier about it being hard to see changes when you're actually so down in the weeds, and you made a very good point there. I'm curious, are we at a tipping point in the industry? Are we at a point where we can now utilize data and really get value out of it? What's your view, Mattias?
I think we are at the tipping point. We're at least closing in on it, because now the tools are maturing, the people are maturing, and the factories are maturing. We start to understand, as we talked about as well, new business models will evolve, insurance, more risk awareness in manufacturing as well. So yeah, I think we are.
Okay. You think that changes the kind of business models that people operate under?
Completely, yes, completely. So we're going to see the connectivity between the EMSs and the product owners becoming much tighter, and it will be data-driven, completely data-driven.
Yeah, and Jürgen, when I think about what you do, when I think about the people you're lecturing at college, when you're talking to millennials, they're used to a digital environment. They're digital natives. They don't expect to queue up for a taxi. They expect Uber to come and bring that taxi to them. So they've got a different mindset. Are they going to help us through this revolution? Are they going to push us on?
Well, that can be if we can raise their appetite for operations in the farthest sense. And operations meaning manufacturing and all the supply chain that is behind. Some of them, naturally, they are not very interested. I mean, they are digital natives and they grab everything that's digital like this. But transferring this thing to operations, that's a challenge, and that's something I try to do. Some of them really grab it, and some of them jump on it, and they are really excited then when they do that. So it's maybe 10-20% of the people I'm educating are jumping on that subject.
Okay.
I'd like to add to that, because I fully agree, and I think one of the key aspects we're going to start seeing is gamification within the industry.
Right.
Competition of maintenance, competition of performance, faster changeover, most happy customers. We can gamify everything now.
Yeah, I hear this term gamification, and maybe it's my grey hair or maybe it's my age, but what would that mean on a factory floor? Are we going to have one line competing with the other? How does gamification work in your mind to actually improve the performance of a business?
I think from gamification perspective, it's very simple to find use cases, such as empowering a little bit boring jobs, a little bit troublesome jobs, promoting teamwork. Also, they have the ability to actually attend work even when you're not at work, because you have another interest in it as well. So.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting, and I can see some options there where you do have a digital environment that allows that to occur. Jürgen, when you're talking to, rather than your students, you're talking to your consultative customers, what are their challenges in terms of the digital disruption? Is it the factory floor issues? Is it the business process issues? Or is it actually the business models that they're challenged in creating? We talked about a couple of new words that people are throwing around there. Devicification, not a real word, but we hear it a lot. Servicification, quite a hard one to say, but we're starting to hear more and more of that. What are your feelings on that?
So what I see is that a lot of manufacturing companies, especially in the EMS world, they still stick to what they are used to for the last 25 years, when this whole industry came up, with fixed, rigid lines, manufacturing lines, and they have a hard time imagining that there are other solutions. So what I miss is this spirit of innovation, that somebody comes and says, okay, let's try this. Let's walk away from this rigid line setup, and we go to a clustered setup, okay? And then we come into the gamification thing, where we have modules of manufacturing, call it islands, okay, with smart products, where the products go where there is capacity for the next assembly step. Yeah. And this needs, I mean, you need to be brave to do this. This needs innovative people at the top of companies. This is what I don't see in manufacturing as a service company, classical EMS companies at the moment, because they are still residing in their old traditional business model.
Yeah, and it is a very traditional model based on, everything that went before it. A lot of EMSs have built their business by acquiring OEM facilities and just cutting costs and doing the same thing. And it does need to be innovative, and fortune does favour the brave. One of the servicification things we're hearing about at the moment is equipment as a service, and I know you're involved in that, Mattias. That's a trend that I kind of hope we'll see more of, because there's a lot of equipment that's out there and underutilized, and maybe the Uberization, or whatever term we use for that equipment, is going to be valuable.
It is, no, and we're bound to go that way because the old models of heavy capex investments is going out over time. Of course, companies want to own; they want to have it on their balance sheet on one side. On the other side, they need the flexibility. And how can you? Because the technology evolves so quickly today, you have to keep up with competition. And as a service model allows you to do that.
Yeah.
So.
And it allows you flexibility to move up and down when that happens. Jürgen, when you talk to customers and they've got a particular issue they want to solve, do they come to you and say, hey, I'd like a line that has a certain tax rate, I can shoot so many chips, I can produce so many boards? Or do they say to you, look, we need to build this product and then we need to build a different product tomorrow? Are they looking for not equipment but actual real solutions to their challenges?
So if somebody comes to me and say, I need help with, I need a line that produces 45k component placements per hour, then this is not my business, okay? And I have to say, sorry, I can't help you. If somebody comes and says, I have this new product here, which is I only have CAD drawing or sketches and schematics and whatsoever. What would be the best way to bring this to the customer? This is when I come into the game. And then let's do this innovation thinking thing. What we do traditionally is, okay, I look at the company, their size, what they do, and I try to find the right EMS partner for them. That's what I do. In the future, it will be different. In the future, we will have platforms where we collect all the players on the platforms, and so somebody comes with a piece of hardware or not even a prototype saying, this is what I want to build. Who is out there who can help me? And then on the platform, you have maybe designers, you have software developers, you have manufacturing people, you have manufacturing equipment makers like the ASMs and the Micronics of this world. They would provide the machines as a service, okay? Somebody else would run the machine as a service. Somebody else would do the material sourcing and the logistics and everything, and out comes this product. This is my vision for the next in 5 years.
Yeah, and it's interesting, and I'm going to ask both of you this question, but that needs a complete shift in mindset, doesn't it, in terms of the people and probably in terms of the staff. Do we need more diversity in our workforce? We need more millennials. We need more innovative people. We need people that are a little bit more entrepreneurial, perhaps, within our ecosystem. Is the establishment prepared to accept that change?
We have to. Otherwise, we die.
Yeah.
We can see what happens now. The rise of automation in Asia is enormous. So we have to adopt. We have to bring in more skill set. We need to have more diversified workforce. We need to bring teams that actually can innovate at speed of light.
Yeah.
So.
And it's interesting. We look at the corporates that we've worked with in the past in the EMS industry, and they do feel very corporate now. They feel quite old-fashioned. They need to modernize. They need to become more entrepreneurial. Do you think they'll make that shift, or is it just adapt or die?
Well, what I see is some will and some will not. Okay, of the some wills, there is. Can I mention names here?
You can.
Okay. Take Flex as an example. Since a couple of years, they have tried to get access to new technologies, bring in new things, support startups. Like Elementum was a good example for that thing, and they continue going into this thing. So what they do is, from their sheer design and manufacturing services business, they try to build up an ecosystem of supply chain solutions, and I think that's the right way to do. Nevertheless, there will be these platforms in the future on which, either they own such a platform or they will be part of the platform, will participate in that one. One thing that I believe no one has on the radar so far is a kind of financial services. So I had once a situation where young company, a startup. They are in the AI business. They are producing predictive maintenance data, but they need a piece of hardware. And they have found a classical EMS to build this piece of hardware. And then the next step was, okay, why don't we have to buy this from you? Why don't you keep this and we lease this device and it stays in your books? And after 2 years we give it back, or we buy it out, something like this. Yeah. And they were willing. That was the German Tier 2 EMS, and I was very surprised they were willing. That's the right thing to do, enhancing the services even into financial services.
Yeah. And I would like to add to that as well, that we now, with the tools and data collection and analytics, we can actually get dynamic pricing.
Yeah,
so we're going to move to an Amazon experience within manufacturing. When I order something, I can provide a forecast, but I will get a certificate when it's produced, certificate of authenticity, all these added values that actually just opens up now. So we are getting there.
Yeah. And it's interesting you mention Amazon, because I think what Amazon has is familiarity and comfort with the platform. Everybody knows how Amazon works. Everybody knows they've got one-click checkout. They know what they bought before. They know Amazon will tell them that people who bought this, and it kind of gives comfort. And it might not be the cheapest place to buy everything, but it's a very convenient solution. So we do need to embrace those business practices. We do need to adapt. We do need to be bold. And I think if we do that, there's a very exciting future that will attract those millennials and bring us all through. Gentlemen, always a lot of fun to talk. Thank you so much for stopping by. Enjoy the short part of the remainder of today and the show tomorrow, and we'll talk again soon. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Jürgen.